Gautama Buddha said, mind is everything. What we think, we become. Since mind is what brain does, brain is the measure of everything. Welcome to Brain and Beliefs, where we have conversations about mysticism, religiosity, spirituality, and brain science.
My name is Vivek Palavali. Imagine having nightmares of monsters and demons and Satan every 20 minutes at night and waking you up. That would be very scary. I remember growing up as a young boy in India, I would be very frightened myself every time I had thoughts of demons or monsters. In fact, if I have to walk in a street at night that's dark with no street lights, I would be terrified thinking about any monsters or demons lurking in the dark. My heart would race fast. I would take a deep breath, hold my breath, and run as fast as I could until I reach where there are streetlights or home. Think about how terrifying it must be to have these nightmares every 20 minutes for months before you could get some help.
I had hallucinations that I never have heard of before. I lived alone in a big house by myself at first. And the first thing I would get woke up from a deep sleep, and there would be people in my room standing there, and they wouldn't look at me, they would just stand there, and then they would disappear. And this would happen, it started out once a night, then twice a night, and then they got more and more, and then they got to be um, like monsters. And one was a green clown that walked across the hall. He was green from head to toe. And so my daughter got worried, and we started building an apartment onto her house to move me out so I would be with her. So I moved in here, and they got worse. And it became every 20 minutes all night long. And I saw monsters that looked like Satan himself, monsters that broke through the wall, monsters that reached out to try to grab me, and they laughed at me. And some of the monsters were giants, and some of them were people I know.
Here is the big question. Do monsters and Satan roam in an external supernatural realm of hell? Or are they mere imaginary memories that exist just in our heads? Today's episode will provide some answers to that question.
My name is Patricia Robertson. I had brain surgery.
Patricia was brought to my neurosurgery clinic by her daughter Tammy. Here is the story of Patricia's nightmares.
I was having them every 20 minutes. In fact, my daughter couldn't sleep. She sat by my bed. She was afraid I was going to have a stroke or a heart attack because I screamed.
Patricia thought what she was experiencing was because of the loss of her beloved husband.
I was grieving for my husband, grieving for my playing jobs. I was known in Traverse City as the pianist, and I had jobs all over. I had 2 churches. I had friends. 2 of them died, but I still had friends. And when I moved here, I had nothing. My daughter and her husband are busy working and with friends, and so I have no church, I have no friends, I have nothing, no playing jobs. And so everything started going bad down here.
But Tammy was worried that her mother might have a serious health problem. In fact, she was very concerned if her mother would ever come back to her the way she was.
Only 3 years ago, my daughter noticed symptoms.
What kind of symptoms were those at that time?
She said that my whole personality changed. She said that I wasn't lovable anymore, and that I was very particular about everything, critical, and wasn't as loving. And I was hard to get along with. And I was bossy.
And she thought that was different. It's not you.
I was a different person. She asked you, I don't know if you remember, if she would get her mother back after the surgery. I don't know if you remember.
Well, not quite clearly, but usually what I say is that there are going to be some personality changes based on where your tumor was. And if we can take the tumor out and the swelling in that area goes down, some of those changes do get better. But it's difficult to predict if all of them are going to go away or not, because we don't know if there was some damage to the brain already or not. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you were having these hallucinations, you were seen by a doctor.
I was seen by my MD, and he recommended the MRI.
And what did it show?
It showed a tumor.
The tumor was located on the left side of the brain, near a part of the brain called temporal lobe, which sits just right under the temple. The tumor was causing swelling of the temporal lobe and pushing it. There is an important part of the temporal lobe called hippocampus, which is crucial for memory. It also plays a very significant role in our dreaming at night.
What was done about it?
They set me an appointment with you, and then you set me up for the surgery to take it out.
The tumor was irritating the neurons of the hippocampus, manifesting as seizures. Our doctor realized that Patricia's nightmares were nothing but seizures and put her on anti-seizure medication. Her nightmares became less frequent, but still persisted.
I was put on a medication, what is that called, Capra?
That's correct.
And that seemed to help a lot also. Actually, I only have one after I was given the Capra. They gave that to me before surgery. I can't remember if it was a week or 2 weeks or so before, and I only have one after that.
The tumor was the size of a golf ball. I performed the surgery called craniotomy by opening part of the skull on the left side and removing the tumor under general anesthesia. Patricia's surgery was successful and she recovered very well after surgery.
I'm much better. She says the only thing that bothers her is that I complain about the house being messy.
That's being a mother, right?
Yeah, and I complain about the way they eat. I gained 50 pounds since I came here because I tried to eat their stuff.
Eventually, Patricia was able to come off of her anti-seizure medication.
So these hallucinations were way before you had surgery.
Yes, after surgery, I never had another one.
Even though the tumor was the culprit causing Patricia's nightmares, it was very interesting for me to hear Patricia's belief that the nightmares were caused by Satan.
Do you feel it's possible that some of this could be related to the tumor being located where it was and what it was doing to your brain?
That's your department. The hallucinations, I feel half of them were satanic when I saw Satan because he got in my face and grinned. I think they started out from the tumor and Satan took advantage of it. And because they got worse and worse and they were unbelievable. Even I didn't believe it. I reached out to try to grab them to see if they were real, and there was nothing there. I knew something was wrong in my head, so when I had an MRI, I was very uncomfortable. And When they said that they saw something, I was not surprised.
And you have not had any visions of Satan since surgery?
Had any what?
Visions, seeing Satan since surgery? Have you seen Satan
No.
since surgery?
No.
Now, I know you did say that it's my department if I thought this was related to where the brain tumor was.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you what your interpretation and your belief is. That's what I wanted to hear.
But I think what happened is the tumor started it, and Satan took advantage, as he always does, and he broadened it. And some of them were demons, and one was him himself.
But here is the neurological explanation for her nightmares. Patricia is a very faithful Christian and believes in heaven and hell. It's very likely that she heard about or read stories of Satan and monsters in hell. These images of the monsters and Satan were stored in Patricia's hippocampus as memories. I remember growing up in India in a Hindu family. I was aware of the gods of Hindu religion, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. I also was aware of Lord Yama, who was the ruler in hell, along with demons and monsters. I am sure the images and memories of those stories and those gods are in my hippocampus. When the tumor was irritating the neurons of hippocampus in Patricia's temporal lobe, the memories of Satan and monsters were recalled as nightmares. Once the tumor was removed, her nightmares were eliminated. She did have some vivid dreams. That might be because her hippocampus might still be sensitive. Did you ever have that kind of experience again after surgery?
No, I have not. I haven't had any hallucinations. The only thing I have had is a lot of vivid dreams, and I prayed and asked that they not be so vivid.
But her strong faith as a Christian has powerful influence on her interpretation of the nightmares, that they were caused by Satan. As far as the monsters and Satan in Patricia's nightmares are concerned, they did not descend from an external supernatural realm of hell. They just existed as memories in her brain. They were literally monsters in her head. This is not the end of her story.
My name is Patricia Robertson. I had brain surgery, and I had an out-of-body experience.
Please tune in next time to hear the story of Patricia's out-of-body experience during surgery. Thanks for listening.